Support on Barton FM is sponsored by EasyBuy.
Welcome to the North Counties East League Cup final preview show with me, Richard Watts. Joined by the league's general manager, Matt Jones. We've got the final coming up. What are your thoughts on the two sides?
Well, I'm looking forward to a really, really good game, Richard. We've got Golcar, finished 9th in their first season at Step 5, quitted themselves very, very well. They were promoted last year from the North West Counties League. Step 6 won the playoffs, laterally moved across to us, and they've had a really good year. The crowd at the semi-final was 1,320, which was the biggest Northern Counties East League crowd of any club this season. They're averaging 330, so we're hoping they're going to bring quite a lot of fans to the final.
Yeah.
And they really give 110% in every game I've seen, and real dogged defending, and I think Winterton will find them quite hard to break down. Winterton Rangers finished second in the league, done really well. Playoff against the Step 4 side coming up this Saturday. We'll know whether, by the time the final comes around, we'll know whether they've been promoted or not.
Right.
So they could either be on a massive high or a bit of a downer. They themselves won 4-3 on penalties in the semi-final at Handsworth, which is never easy to go to, and it promises two good sides, promises to be a really cracking final. I'd like to say as well that if it lives up to last year's final, between Barton and Garforth, which finished 3-2 to Barton, which would have pleased you obviously being Barton.
It certainly did.
It was a final that had everything. Barton 2-0 up early on, 2 goals in the last 6 minutes for Garforth, and a winner for Barton in extra time. It was really good. If it's anything like as good as that, it promises to be a really, really good game.
It does, yeah. Two good footballing sides, aren't they, both of them?
They are, yes,
and
different styles as well. I think you'll see quite contrasting styles, but it's going to be a good game, and we're hoping for a bumper crowd at the Eco Power Stadium.
And on the whole, how have you thought the season's gone this year?
It's gone really, really well. We've had some exciting battles for promotion. We've had battles at the other end, teams struggling against relegation. It's been really close. Attendances are absolutely going through the roof at the majority of clubs. I think 19 of the 20 Premier Division clubs have shown increases this year.
Has it been a record attendance-wise for the league as a whole?
Well, I'm told that we're the most watched Step 5 league in the country at the moment.
Wow.
We've got the biggest crowd in the country, which is superb.
Yeah.
And I'd just like, if I can, Richard, to say thank you to all the volunteers at the clubs that give up so much time and put so much effort into keeping the clubs going, improving the facilities. And I think with the price of Premier League football and Championship football, coming and watching a game at Northern Counties East League semi-pro level is really, really good value for money, and I think that's why we're seeing so many people coming this way.
It's much better football than people realise, isn't it? It's not Sunday League football, is it? It is good standard football.
We tend to find that when people come and give it a chance and have a look, that they'd stay around. They like what they see and they stay around, and thank all the clubs for everything they've done this year. It's been brilliant.
And just one thing, next season, playoffs are being introduced.
Yes, we've already got the playoffs at Step 6 again this year, but in Step 5, the Premier Division, there's only one team currently playing off against a team from a higher league. Next year that's going to change, so teams that finish 2nd to 5th will play off against each other in the same format as Division 1, and that hopefully will keep the race and keep it more interesting for teams who will find themselves mid-table at Christmas. They've still got something to aim for.
Next up, we'll look at Golcar United's journey to the final with their physio, Connor Kavanagh. Yeah, I'll start just a general comment on your first season. You've finished 9th. You must be delighted with that first season at this level.
Yeah, I mean, the main objective was to kind of stay up, obviously try and finish as high as possible. So a top half finish, can't complain at that. It's been a good season.
So if we move on to the the cup and you entered at the second round stage. Can you talk us through the progress to the final?
Yeah, so we started off with an away trip to Hemsworth. So it was a tough game. We'd literally played Hemsworth 3 days prior in the league, and we actually lost 1-0 in the league.
Right.
So, and we know it's not an easy place to go. You know, we lost on the Saturday, but I think we've got the experience in the side. It was pretty much a similar game in the cup as it was in the league, but luckily we managed to get the winner and progress into the next round. Third round, Knaresborough at home. Again, we've played them a few weeks beforehand in the league away. We lost 2-1. So we know again it won't gonna be an easy game, but it was a completely different game to how the league game went. We won and we kept a clean sheet. I think what we've done well so far this season is we've been solid at the back. We don't tend to concede too many goals, which is, the solid foundation for pretty much for the cup run.
And then it's on the quarterfinals, Maltby Main quarterfinals.
Maltby Main, yeah, again. So we've played them. I think it was 10 days beforehand in the league, and that was a draw. Finished 1-1. So going there on a Wednesday night, we knew again it was going to be tough. The playing conditions weren't the best, and I think we lost a player to injury early on in the first half, but it didn't seem to disrupt us too much, and it was a really tight, cagey game. And it went to penalties, and I think we missed one of the penalties. But again, just something about us and then penalty shootouts, especially in cup runs. We love a good penalty shootout.
And then we're to the semi-final. I think the first thing on that, what an astonishing attendance, 1,320.
Yeah, do you know what? Biggest attendance we've ever had.
How did you get them all in? I've only been the once to your ground from the Barton game earlier in the season. It's amazing you could get that number in.
Well, yeah, I mean, we got a similar number against Bury at home last season on the last game of the season. But we always knew that this game against Emley, 5 minutes up the road from us, it was always going to be a massive crowd. I think we had 600 and odd in the league. It had a potential to get a record attendance, and especially with the two games we've played against Emley this season, a 1-1 draw away at Emley earlier on in the season, and then the 3-3 draw just a few weeks ago in the league on a Tuesday night. And I think it helped with being on a Friday night, which I think kind of helped the attendance as well.
How did the game go? Was it a tight game? Were there any real chances in it?
Yeah, I mean, it was a tight game, as it went all the way to penalties. I think Emley were probably the better team. They had the better of the chances in the first half. We had a couple of chances in the second half, but it was your typical cup tie, very, very cagey. I think no one wanted to make a mistake. You go back to the league game a couple of weeks ago, and it were six goals between the two teams. Yeah. So a completely different style, but yeah, it were some game of football.
Yeah. And that penalty shootout is just astonishing. Am I right in thinking you missed your first penalty and then scored the next 12?
Yeah.
That's just incredible.
You know what? Every single penalty, or pretty much most of them were just of high quality.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there were many. There might have been one poor penalty and it was from Emily, which our keeper saved. It was their fourth penalty, but all the others were just fantastic.
Yeah, it's absolutely. I can't think of like a sort of semi-final stage. I can't ever think of hearing a penalty shootout with that many penalties needed.
No, I mean we had a penalty shootout in the playoff semi-final against Blackpool last season. I don't think it was quite dramatic as that. I think that were just the 5 penalties each. But it won't good on the heart. It were.
I bet it wasn't. And moving on to your team, who are the key players to look out for?
Do you know what? Throughout the whole squad, we've got a lot of strong players. I think the main players really would be as top goal scorer Kale. Signed him from Steaton in the off season. Top goal scorer for us. He knows where the goal is. Daniel Nidola in the number 10 just behind him. Experience, played at a higher level. Knows what it's all about again. Setting up goals, scoring goals. And then a young lad we've signed from Huddersfield Amateurs, Slater Barnes. He's impressed us the most this season. He's played wing back on either side, left and right. He's played in a number 10 role, and he's sometimes even played as a striker. So he's played in different positions, and I think he's got about 8, maybe 10 goals this season. So that's, he's done really well.
And I was like, Sark must have about the best left foot in the division in the league. I always think, what a left foot he's got. His delivery is terrific.
It's been completely different to how it was last season in the Northwest Division 1. The style of football, a lot of teams want to try play football and play out from the back. You look at the teams that we've played against. We've not done too bad against teams in the top half. Looking at the final, Winterton, again, both games I think have been a draw, and they're up there for a reason. They're a good team. It's going to be a tough final.
And they know how to win.
Yeah, they certainly do, and they've got some good players.
Yeah, it should be a good final.
Yeah, it will be. I just think it'll be one of them occasions where whichever team can handle the occasion will go on to win it. But I think this is where we're in kind of a good position because we've got players that have played in cup finals before, cup semi-finals, playoff finals, played at a higher level. So in terms of experience of playing in a cup final, we've got a good set of lads that, have got the experience to kind of deal with the pressure.
I'm joined by Aaron Walton, and we're going to look at Winterton's journey to Doncaster in the final. First round, Aaron, they were at Frickley.
Yeah, Frickley, 3-1. It's always a tough place to go, as we've found out at Barton, haven't we? It's not an easy place to go, but it was 3-0, wasn't it? Virtually till the last kick of the game, and then Frickley got a consolation goal, didn't they? So that was reasonably easy for Winterton. Who was the scorers, Richard? Remind me again.
2 for Grimes and 1 for Dan Walker.
Dan Walker, not Josh. I think Dan's probably scored as many as Josh this season. And that's no mean feat because he usually comes off the bench. So that's good. So that was round 2, a tricky potential banana skin against Frickley. And that's when Frickley were playing quite well. I know they dropped off after Christmas, really. They really dropped off because I think Wayne Ben left and they're playing lots of young lads. So that's a good win. So we go to round 3 for Winterton. That was a home tie against Campion. Now, Campion absolutely blasted. They've won, didn't they? Division 1 came up as champions. However, Winterton did a Winterton on them. And a Winterton is basically never getting out of third gear but winning the game. And that's how Winterton play. They certainly know how to win a game and stifle a team from playing, and they've got the players up front to certainly not miss many chances. Can't remember who scored in the game, but they certainly, it could have been 4 or 5 for Winterton on that night. They really sort of took the chances well and never let Campion play.
Grimes, Anderson, Josh Walker got the goals.
Thank you very much. You're jogging my memory. So, yeah. So, Grimesy again, probably one of the oldest players in Winterton's team, but probably one of the fittest.
Yeah,
undoubtedly. I think he can do a park run in about 17 minutes, Richard, without a doubt.
Yeah.
So, a 3-1 win against Campion. So again, another good. I think a lot of people came to that match thinking Campion might be able to overturn Winterton, but not a chance. Certainly, Winterton were worthy winners.
3-0 after 40 minutes.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, and I think they just shut the shop up in the second half and just coasted. I think Scott put a few subs on, rested a few players, and then Campion never looked like they were going to score. So we go to the quarterfinals. Now, this was another game I went to see against my good friends from Albion, and it was a 1-0 win. Very, very close game, Richard. Albion played very well. I think the problem with Albion is they didn't have anybody up front who could get the ball in the net. It's as simple as that. They were creating lots of chances. They look very tight at the back. You know, you've got Aaron Bassey, Cam Bassey. They look really good at the back, really solid. Winterton didn't have a great deal of chances, but they stuck it away. Again, not too sure of the scorer.
Dan Walker.
Dan Walker. If it's not Dan, it's Josh. If it's not Josh, it's Dan. Dan Walker, yeah, took his chance well. Albion did have a chance late on in the second half to bring it all square. There was a ball knocked across the box, but nobody got a touch to it. So, you know, a little bit unlucky for Albion there, which was a tight game. But again, Winterton know how to win games, don't they, Rich?
They certainly do, yeah.
I know I've seen Winterton probably 10, 11 times this season, mainly midweek games, and they've never really looked in trouble, and they've never really played badly. They've always, they've got that, I don't know, they've got that balance right of youth and experience throughout the team. There's a lot of old heads in it, and people say, "Oh, well, they're getting old. They're getting old." Yeah, but they're damn fit as well. So I don't think sometimes age has got anything to do with it. I think if you're fit enough, or you're old enough, you're fit enough, you'll play. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
So we go to the semi-finals. I didn't see this one, and that was away at Handsworth on the 4G. Now, Winterton don't particularly like the 4G. But I think they beat Handsworth in a league game earlier on in the season. They drew 3-3, so a few nerves there. And it had to go into extra time, didn't it? And penalties 4-3.
Yeah.
So very tight, typical semi-final there. I did think Winterton would win if I was going to give I'm going to have a bet on that. I thought Winterton would have won that one, but I didn't think it'd be as close as that. So obviously, but Handsworth are very Jekyll and Hyde, aren't they, Richard? They're either very good, or not very good. It's just there's no in between with Handsworth. We've seen the best and the worst of Handsworth, haven't we? I mean, they came to Barton, didn't they? And they're probably one of the best footballing teams I've seen this season at Barton. I think it was a draw, wasn't it? It was a 0-0 draw, wasn't it, against Barton? And do you remember? I think it was a 0-0 draw, but it was a very good 0-0 draw. You know, lots of action. So for Winterton to go to Handsworth and beat them on penalties, that's good. So 4-3 in the final.
Looking at it, Handsworth led twice as well in that game.
Yeah, and as you say, Winterton have always got that. They've got that sort of reading of the game and not to panic. They'll come back. You've got Lee Ridley and Steve Ridley. You've got Paul Grimes, all good old heads that know what to do. That when you're watching them, they're always talking. They're talking the younger lads through the games. And there's one guy I've been particularly impressed with this season. Is that's Sam Ainsley. Hell of a shot on him. He scored 2 or 3 cracking goals that I've seen this season, and they've all been reasonably long distance. They're not tap-ins, really good goals. Just gets his foot behind it, on target, bang, top corner, bottom corner, left or right. And I've been particularly impressed with him and his defending as well. So that's one to look out for, Sam Ainsley.
And then you've got Josh Walker up front, gets bags of goals every season, doesn't he?
Yeah, Josh is a funny one, because Josh can look absolutely disinterested all the game. As soon as he gets in that penalty area, he's very interested.
Yeah.
And he very rarely misses. I'm probably doing him a little bit of a disservice saying he just doesn't look interested, because he's always making space, and sometimes he's in space but he doesn't get the ball, etc., etc. But everybody wants a Josh Walker at number 9, don't they?
Certainly do, yeah.
And his brother Dan, as I said, he generally comes on as a substitute. He always scores. He's always there. So they've certainly got some players in there.
Yeah, they certainly have. Jamie Touré's always pretty good now. I mean, Luke Anderson doesn't often get in the 11, does he? But what a handy person he is, having to have coming off the bench.
Yeah, I mean, Luke played for Barton for a season, didn't he? And I thought Luke played well at Barton. I really did. He generally comes on and looks quite handy. Like, I think he's had a few injuries, he's had a few knocks this season. Jamie Touré never shirks a tackle. I think sometimes he's a little bit unfortunate when he gets cautioned, because he's genuinely going for the ball. I think he's not a robust player. Sometimes he's a bit of a clumsy tackler, but he's not a dirty player. But another lad you'd want in your team. Never stops running. Gives you 100% every game. Good link-up player. So yeah, Jamie Touré, good player.
So by way of looking at both sides, we thought we'd come up with a Golcar and Winterton combined 11, or the best, or 11 made up of teams from Golcar and Winterton. So let's start with the goalkeeper. Golcar have Harry Stead.
Harry Stead, yeah, and Winterton have the X1, Mr. Nathan Popple. I think this is a tough one, because they're both. I'm a little bit biased because I've seen Nathan more times than I've seen Harry Stead. But when I've seen Harry 3 times this season, and he's a competent keeper. He's not a flashy keeper, but he'll keep. He'll do what he needs to do. He's a good distributor of the ball. Yeah, I think he's a decent keeper. I'd have him in my team. But then you got Nathan Popple, who's a good penalty saver, a good shot stopper. He's got a hell of a kick on him.
Yeah, he has. Yeah,
hell of a kick on him.
Yeah.
I've seen Nathan more times than I've seen Harry, but Nathan's always he's had 1 or 2 blunders, but I'm going to say Pops. I'm going to go for Nathan Popple.
Yeah, I think I'd agree. I'd have him in, I think. So right back, Golcar have got Adam Field.
Yeah. Who we got for Winterton?
Is it Ainsley at right back?
Oh, Sam Ainsley. So I'm having Sam Ainsley all day. Sorry. Yeah, Sam's been. I've eulogised earlier on about him. For me, he's one of the most improved players in the Winterton team, and he'll always get you a goal. Lots of running in him, backwards and forwards. It's only because I don't know a great deal about Mr. Field, really. So, I'll go with Sam Ainsley for me. What about you, Rich?
Yeah, I think it's tight, but I think Field's pretty good going forward. But yeah, I think I'll probably agree. Just Sam Ainsley, I think.
You watch Fieldy get man of the match on stage.
Yeah.
Show us what we know. So we're going to go for Sam Ainsley, right? Yeah. So
left back,
yeah.
So Golcar got Leon Henry on that left side.
Yeah. Oh, what a player Leon is. Ex-Yorkshire Amateurs. Was chatting to him when we played Barton, and I said to him, "How old are you now, Leon?" I says, "You must be in your early 30s." He's 36.
36.
He's 36, and what an engine on that guy. 36, absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
It was one of the jewels in the crown when Yorkshire Amateurs were a team and a half. But he lives in Huddersfield, so he's obviously a little bit closer to home and for Golcar. So he's a really, really good player. He's got a good engine on him. I really do like Leon. I think he's a really good player. Good tackler, tenacious in the tackle, and he can bring the ball forward as well. So what have we got for Winterton?
Winterton have got Adam Bartham. Or Bartham, isn't it?
Bartham, yeah. I've seen Adam a few times, and he's never let the team down. He's pretty good. He's good at distributing the ball. He gets his head up and has a look. He's pretty good in the tackle as well. But I'm going to go for Leon for this one.
Yeah, I'd agree. I would have him in my team there as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, two centre backs. So for Golcar, you're looking at Lawrence and I suppose Scars is a centre back, isn't he?
Yeah.
Lawrence and Scars, I suppose. And Winterton, you're looking, aren't you, at Lee Ridley and Peel Evans.
Peel Evans, yeah. Peel Evans, he's a young lad who's come through. I think he's at one of the universities. He's played well this season. And Lee, well, Lee's Lee, isn't he? I mean,
you couldn't not have Lee Ridley in the side.
Definitely not. I mean, he was a bit quieter this season verbally than he usually is. Never misses a header and never jumps. That mystifies me. He never misses a header. Never gets off the ground. Knows where to be, where to tackle, when to push forward, when to go back. He's telling the younger lads all the time. Great to have on the field. I don't know how old Lee is, but again, you know, he battles to the end. He's got a good engine on him. So you've got to have him in your team, haven't you?
Yeah. And I don't think I could look away from Joe Scars with that left foot. It must be the best left foot in the league.
What a player! I mean, obviously he's like Lee. He's had a pedigree of professional clubs, Huddersfield Town to name but one. He's been with Golcar for quite a while now as he's sort of a coach as well, player coach as well, helping the brothers out. But when we saw him at Golcar, it was just like an iron, wasn't it? Like you said, you just spraying the ball about straight onto everybody's foot, to Buddy Kopp, to Daniel Nidoli, to Slater Barkham Barnes. You know, they were just straight on the foot. What a brilliant player! Oh man, and the really good thing about Joe Scars is he's such a nice guy as well off the pitch. He really is a nice guy, but what player! What a great player! he had to come off at Barton, didn't he? Because he had a clash of heads with Tom Wardby. And as Joe come off, he says, I thought I'd hit the post. I thought my head had hit the post. I didn't realise Tom's head was so hard. So, but yeah, I would have definitely have the experience of the two older heads in there, Lee Ridley and Joe Scars.
Yeah. Well, then we've got to pick a midfield. So I would say, looking at it, we've got to pick from Golcar's representatives, Slater Barkham Barnes.
Yeah.
Mark Leonard, Alex Hammond.
Yeah.
And question whether you have Nadoli as a midfield player or a striker. He sort of plays just behind, doesn't he?
Yeah. I mean, wow.
I suppose Winterton haven't you? You've got Steve Ridley.
Yeah.
You got Jamie Toure.
Yeah.
You've got Jack Varley.
Yeah. Very busy player. I was just thinking today, Jack.
Grimes, you would have up front, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I'd probably have Jack up front. Jack Varley's got a double He's got a doppelganger playing for Stirling University called Jake Service, of all names. He's Jack Varley's double. So look, anybody look that up. Jake Service, Jack Varley, separated at birth like twins. But Slater, Bark and Barnes for me, what a player.
Yeah, been superb, hasn't he? Each time we've seen him.
Yeah. Each time we've seen him, he's been really good. I think a little bit quiet at Barton, but I've seen him. We saw him at Golcar against us, and he was probably one of their best players, along with Joe Scard. He was really good. I thought he was pretty good against Ferriby. They were very unlucky to lose against Ferriby. I mean, it was an offside goal that Ferriby won it with. You can see the highlights. You see that I can't remember who scored it, but he looked a good 2 or 3 yards offside. Lino went up with play, so it's a shame that should have been 2-2. But for me, I'd have Slater, Bark and Barnes in my team. I'd probably have Jamie Ture, just for his tenacity in the tackle and just getting around and just making a nuisance of himself. And are we having Nadoli, or is he going up in attack?
Well, I think I'd be going for Nadoli in midfield, because I think I would want Grimes and Walker up front.
Yeah.
Just for that reason, I think I'd probably want Steve Ridley in the side.
I would want Steve in as well, yeah, because Steve, you know, he is a good footballer. He's got all that. He's one of the fittest players in the league. He's got all that experience, and if nothing else, he can wind players up. He's absolutely brilliant at it. But what a good footballer as well.
Oh,
really,
yeah.
So tenacious. Again, another tenacious tackler. Wants to win everything. Really good, really quick, really fast. And like I think like he's got like a young engine in an old head. That's the best way I can put it. But Nadoli as well. It's just class.
Yeah, I'm thinking my midfield. Bark and Barnes, Ridley.
Yeah.
Nadoli.
Yeah.
And AN other.
I'll go. Well, I'll probably have Ture then. How's that?
Yeah.
You don't want Jamie in it.
Yeah,
I'll tell him when I see him. So.
I mean, that's just because, I mean, you look at the front, they've got Golcar, have got
Kyle, what's he called? The number 10. He's scored that many goals.
Yeah, they've got Cale Price, haven't they? And they've got Buddy Cox.
Yeah, Buddy Cox. Yeah, I would always bring Buddy on as a sub. Yeah. Just because Buddy for me is like an impact player. You know, because nobody can handle him. Well, he probably scares people when he comes on. He's about 6'4", 6'5". Just it's like the Incredible Hulk.
Yeah.
But he's such a good footballer as well. Really good. But I'm struggling with my midfield, I must admit, because there's so many good players. And then you're looking up front. Wow, like you say, you got Kyle Price, haven't you? You've got Josh Walker. You've got Dan Walker.
Paul Grimes. I couldn't split. I don't think I could split. I don't think I'd be breaking up Grimes and Walker. I think I'd have to, no matter how good. Yeah. Price is a heck of a good player, but I don't think I could look away from Walker and
Grimes. Yeah. I mean, you probably. I don't know. Yeah, but I do like the front guys at Golcar as well. They really are. Yeah. They really are good. But I think again, I'm a little bit biased. But the only reason why is I've just seen Winterton more. So, but what I've seen of Carl Price is it looks really good. Looks really good, really sharp. Who else have we got for Golcar? Have we missed anybody out?
Well, at Ferriby, they played that Eddie Dry up front, didn't he? He had quite a decent game.
Oh, Edward Dry, yes. Yeah.
And Harrison in midfield, I thought, had a good game. I thought he looked a good player.
Yeah, they've got some good lads who are on the periphery of the squad who come in and out. But they've got a good management team as well. The two brothers.
Yeah,
good management. They've been there a good while, and I think they've got that stability there. Same with Winterton with Scott Elliwell, and obviously Grimes is his number 2, isn't he? But Grimes plays, so. But that's a good management duo. So again, it's a tough one. We've sort of tried. We're a bit undecisive about some of them because I mean, you've got Jack Varley there as well.
You've got Jack Varley we haven't got in the team, yeah.
Sorry, Jack, you make my team, mate. Don't worry. Jack is a busy player. He'll keep trying. He'll keep going for it. He'll not give up. He doesn't stop, and he'll chip in with a goal or two as well. And we hadn't talked about Luke Anderson.
No.
Again, Luke's come off the bench quite a bit, and he always looks effective. Dan Walker. I'd love to have a Dan Walker on the bench who I know is going to get me 10 or 11 goals, maybe 12 goals. I think he's even got more than that this season. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So I'll tell you something. You look at that combined team, and you would fancy it to win the league. Wouldn't
you just? 100 points there.
Yeah.
100 points. So don't get any ideas, Winterton and Golcar, of making an amalgamation together. But all in all, what it does, Richard, is it makes for a really good final. I mean, I thought Emley and Golcar would have been a good final. No disrespect to Winterton, but I thought that would have been a good final because for me, I think Emley and Golcar have been two of the. For me, there's been about 8 or 9 really good footballing teams in the league, and Emley and Golcar are up there, definitely. Winterton, they know how to win.
Yeah.
But for me, and this is no disrespect to them, I watch Winterton, and for me, they never seem to get out of third gear, as I've said before, but they win. So why change something when you're winning?
Yeah.
I'm wondering though, with Winterton's pitch, to me, it always looks a little bit tight. I'm wondering at that big pitch at Doncaster whether that might tire them somewhat. You just don't know.
On Barton FM, we'll have live commentary on the final. We'll be on air just before the kick-off at 7:30. You can listen via the Barton FM website, bartonfmradio.co.uk, or on the Barton FM Facebook page, or ask Alexa to play the Barton FM skill. That's it for this programme. Thanks for listening.